In this episode of It's Scary to Remarry, I want to discuss 3 reasons why a second marriage can work. What's up, y'all? This is Sean Heineman here with another episode of It's Scary to Remarry, wanting you to love fearlessly. And I've done a video, probably my most watched video was a video that I did on 3 reasons why second marriages fail. And a lot of people watch the video. So I said, let me be more positive about this and let's look at 3 reasons why a second marriage can work, because somebody might be contemplating getting married again, but they might have a little anxiety about getting remarried because they wonder why the first marriage didn't work, or just having that anxiety. If you've been through a divorce, you get it. So let's jump into this. Number 1 is some of us actually learn from what went wrong in the first marriage. Now, the key word to this is some. The first marriage, we go through it and it was painful. There was things that we had to go through. We had to walk through this whole process of divorce papers and the kids and all these different things. And a lot of times we learn from our pain. I know everybody don't learn from their pain. I know there's some exceptions to the rule. Some people, they got it all together. But for most of us, we learn through pain. Like when I first got married, I was 24. I was immature. I was stubborn. There were things that I just had to learn. And, those were some of my faults of going in that marriage, and now that I'm older, I see where I went wrong in that. And there was some pain in that. There was some growth in that I had to realize. And of course, I was happy to finalize the divorce, but at the same time, I had to learn what maturity looked like, especially when I was dealing with someone else, if I planned on remarrying, right? So number 1 is some of us actually learn from what went wrong in the first marriage. Number 2 is you cherish your new spouse and you learn not to take that person for granted. Now, going into a second marriage, you realize how fragile marriage actually is, because you've been through a divorce and you know that this can happen, opposed to if this is your first time being married. You think until death do us part and things of that nature. But one thing I've learned is, especially getting remarried, is I actually heard my vows the second time. The first time, I don't know, maybe I was just head in the clouds kind of thing. But the second time around, I just really was able to soak in what I was hearing from the pastor. That's just a side note. But anyway, you learn to honor and cherish this second marriage because you understand how fragile it is. And if you don't take that time to honor and cherish the one that you with, the one that you married to, you can possibly find yourself working on a third marriage because you just don't realize how fragile a marriage actually is. You have to be intentional about your marriage. If you're not putting in the work, like putting your marriage on autopilot is a terrible thing. But that's another episode for another time. The last one is, and this is kind of similar to the first one, is you are okay with admitting your mistakes, right? So you realize that in going through the divorce, you had your faults, your failures, and then it's easy to kind of blame your ex about all the personal issues they had. You can, oh, she did this, she did that, he did this, he did that. But you get to a place where you realize that you have issues and things that you need to work on in your own brokenness. And this is where the therapy comes into play, where they can help you walk through your hurt and your pain. And when you realize that you have issues and things that you need to work on, when you're with your new spouse, when they come to you with a personal issue, you're not quick to be defensive, because you realize that I have some faults and failures and some things I have to work through as well. You become a little more humble when you go into a second marriage, because you realize that you have faults and you realize that the new marriage is, marriage is fragile if you don't put in the necessary work. So what are those 3 that can make a second marriage successful? The first one is some of us actually learn from what we done wrong in the first marriage. Number 2 is you cherish your new spouse and you learn not to take them for granted. And number 3 is you are okay with admitting your faults and your failures. Be sure to subscribe and share this video with a friend, someone who might plan on getting remarried. There is hope at the end of the tunnel. I'm happy that I've been able to remarry to such an amazing, awesome woman. So this is just to give hope to those who plan on marrying again. Make sure you share this video and subscribe and share. I'm Sean Heineman at It's Scary to Remarry, wanting you to love fearlessly. Take care, people.